Nice and short.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Top of Off Cricket Podcast. I am your host, Kevin Henry, and as usual, with me I got Sam and Walter, and we are talking everything West Indies cricket. So, fellas, on my way to work this morning, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? West Indies haven't named the squad for the one-day tour of of England and Ireland as yet. I haven't seen a squad named for the South Africa AA series. Because the South Africans will be here. They have named their squad well in advance, right? And here we are this afternoon. I pull up Facebook and Livewire on the Livewire website. There's a post about the West Indies squad. So let's chop it up about what we see in the squad. You know how things will pan out, given that we're coming into a World Cup cycle and possibilities, players being called up to the West Indies Test squad. Walter, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the squad?
Um, hi guys. Hi people, whenever you're watching this. Um, I like the squad. They're based on availability. It's the best squad that we have available. Um, with the exception of Puran and a committed, mind my words, people are committed. Um, Hetimaya. It's a good it's a decent squad. I like the fast bowling. And a lot of these guys have experience. Also, I think based on the South Africa A tour, based on when that tour will be, that in terms of the tests, the first unofficial test starts June 4th, and this tour um ends on June 3rd. So I think this is a tour that can be used for and thinking about the future for tests because some of the bowlers will get some, as we've been saying, some match practice in their legs, especially somebody like Mr. Shamar Joseph, who has not played in the IPL thus far. Um, So I think based on that, that's a good thing. Lastly, as well, I like to see the fact that they have Ravi Rampal as the bowling assistant bowling coach. So I think that's also a good thing.
Sam, your thoughts?
Well, listen, I don't think any reasonable person is going to have a problem with the selection of this squad. All right. Um, Walter mentioned Hetimaya. Personally, I don't have a problem with him not being in this squad. I don't even think Hetimaya has a problem with not being in this squad. Right? Hetty is living his best life, and I'm happy for the young man. Right? I'm not gonna sit in a corner and cry and oh, he should be here and what have you, because let's face it. Let's ask ourselves this question, right? If Hetty were to be in this squad, or let's say we're considering him for the 11, where would he be batting?
And in front of who?
Is it there you go. And is it a case that we have competition at that point where he's going to be batting? You understand? That's how I want us to think about it. So it's not a case whereby West Indies cricket desperately needs Hetty to be in this ODI squad. All right? So let's put that out of the way. I got no issues with that. All right? But all respect to the young man, I wish him all the best. Good? Here is my big concern. Cricket West Indies. I think we have to move away from this just dropping a squad like that. What I would prefer is for them to have a proper press conference and talk about the squad, right? Because you and I know that if they were to have a proper press conference, the questions that will be asked of them is not only about this tour to England and Ireland. We're going to hear about Australia because they're holding their cards close to themselves, waiting. I don't know when, maybe by the end of the month, we're going to hear, well, okay, this is the squad for Australia. Or maybe 2 weeks before, who knows? Yes. But again, I would have preferred if there was a proper press conference and they laid the cards out here. But I have no issues. I noticed Ravi Rampal is now bowling coach. I don't know. I don't know if you guys could comment on what he was doing. I don't
I
know.
know he's been doing a few courses I've seen, and West Indies offered a few, and I see he's been a coach that we've been working around a few teams. But one person I could say there's one person is missing, and is from this squad is a Jason Holder. What's happening to Jason Holder, guys? Kevin, what's happening to Jason Holder?
Last things first, Jason Holder. I am not sure. I actually expected Jason Holder to be here unless he has a prior commitment,
Yeah.
you know, and of course the no objection certificate comes into play. That's a big thing these days. But I can't necessarily complain about this squad that has been selected, right? It's good to see Evan Lewis there. It's good to see young Joel Anthony there, Joel Andrew, sorry, there.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Joel Andrew being around the international side and being groomed. You understand?
And Ireland is a nice team for him to start against.
Actually, he played against the Irish last year, and he had 100 in when West Indies aid went there to take on the
Yeah.
Ireland's full squad. Actually, he scored 145 not out or something of that nature. I can't remember the exact score, but he did pretty well. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this squad. I'm just eager to see what is going to happen because I'm thinking to myself, there's a couple of people here that could very well end up in one of those 18 test matches once the guys return from England,
Mhm.
right? That's what I'm thinking.
Sorry, which 18 test you're talking
The
about?
second
South
one,
Africa.
the
The
second
second,
Oh,
one.
the
the
second one?
second, the
Yes, the
second
second one,
one.
because the series against England wraps up on the third of June. You know, I think that second test match starts on, was that the 8th?
June
8
8th,
to
yeah.
Yeah,
11.
June 8th. So there is some time because there might be some players in this squad here who are going to be in the test squad and they're probably going to give them a run out. You
Yeah,
know,
we could, yeah, especially, I mean, I could see, well, Jaden Sears is playing in England, so he might not necessarily play, but I think somebody like a Simar Joseph, a Royston Chase, a Brandon King, and a Shai Hope. I wouldn't be surprised if those fellas are in that team, even Alzari Joseph as well, right? Because I think that they need to get some legs, some bowling. I mean, Alzari Joseph played in the 4-day tournament, so
from the 4-day tournament, you went to the PSL.
But
yeah.
but Kevin,
Mm.
don't you imagine that this ODI squad, a lot of the people you would want to see or heading back, are they going to stay for the T20s in Ireland?
The T20s in Ireland.
Yeah, based on what I'm seeing here, you got T20s from June 12th to the 15th.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
So we
I
have
So they
to-
the
I
have the, they
to- I
have the
to- I
first, they have the
totally
two
missed that one.
ODIs Yeah, they have the two ODIs, May 21, May 23, and the 25th. Sorry, the three ODIs,
Yeah,
May
three
21,
ODIs.
23, 25th.
Mhm.
And then they jump the pond to England
I would
and then return.
for that I wouldn't send I would since it's T20 I would give some of the young players a chance on that too, right? That's a time for us to
Are
um
you are you saying are you saying we're going to send the guys from the breakout league to Ireland?
no,
What
no, no. Some
that's
of
what
them
you're
I think
suggesting, Walter?
some of them I think who are good enough,
Like who,
but
Walter?
there are enough people on the fringes of West Indies T20. People
Mm,
like Odin Smith who needs we can think of a number of people that need to play, that need
mm.
some that we shouldn't just throw away, right? As it relates to T20. So
Should
we
Kevlon Anderson be called up for that?
no, Kevlin honestly
T20? No?
should be part of the 4 day the test against
Right,
Ireland and
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
concentrating
Yeah.
and
South
that's where he
Africa.
should be on any 18 tours. I
Mm,
honestly don't think Cleveland Anderson is ready for the big leagues in terms of Test cricket. People might say, "Oh yes," but he's only really had one good season, and just like we've said, you put somebody like a him just like Michael Louis, and again, listen to me, people. Listen, Kevi, Sammy, we've been telling people
mm.
Australia coming for blood. You can't put them little by like Kevin Anderson for start against Australia. This is not people just think that these banners is joke and test cricket is a joke and people should just any and anybody could go and stand up there. This is not Darley House lick it
Mm.
as that T20 cricket and them kind of thing. This is cricket. This is proper cricket. We're purists at heart. I love the T20 and I love ODI, but I'm a purist at heart. Test cricket is cricket. That's real. Real cricket is played. And listen to me. People are gonna say, okay, people now big hitting. Who was the first person to hit six sixes?
And that got so Garfield Sobers.
Well,
Big hitting happened. Clyde Walcott, Roy Frederick, these banners. They are a plethora of people from West Indies. And listen to me. I was listening to a podcast with this fella name again. The from England. He's an older dude. Commentate. Why am I forgetting his name right now? He's beyond with Kimber.
Who Bumble?
Yeah. You know what Bumble was saying? And people think he was crazy. Bumble said that Jeff Boycott would have been a decent IPL cricketer because he could have stepped it up when he wanted to. So people feel that these like back in the day, people these things could happen. People hitting the ball all the time. This is the easiest thing for the people, big man.
Listen, in terms of Kevlon Anderson being, some people I hear people talking about Kevlon being, he is a prospect. I think it's a bit too early. The farthest I'll go with Kevlon Anderson is have him in the squad. That's the furthest I'll go. I would not put him in the fire, in the kitchen just as yet. You understand? I will have him on in the squad so you can see how it operates, how things are done, have an idea, which is kind of like what Joel Andrew is going through right now, being with the one day squad. He was in Sri Lanka. He was there against England, So he has a fair understanding. Kevlon Anderson goes, if he plays against South Africa, the South Africa A, in both one day and the test matches, and he does well. West Indies have tours later on in the year. You understand?
Mm.
West Indies have tours later on in the year. I would love to see him there also. But let's not rush this. As you said earlier, Walter, the Aussies are coming for blood. They're coming for revenge. They did not take the Gabba lightly. You understand? They did not. That stung. As much as you saw a lot of the commentators into the moment with Shamar Joseph and all these things, it stung that whole Australian nation, and they are coming
I'm
for
not sure,
blood.
by the way.
So, with that being said, I think the Aussies are ripe for the picking. I do think they are ripe for the picking. This squad is not as good. This set of Australian players, they're not as good as opposed to a couple of years ago. The matches against India were closer than what the scores reveal. The matches against West Indies were way closer than the actual result. You understand? Especially that first test match. West Indies were in with more than a chance to win that first test match. And our batting in the second innings let us down. Lack of patience when we were bowling to Travis Head let us down. But with that being said, predictions for the two sets of one day series, fellas. How you see West Indies going against England and Ireland? We winning, we taking a beating. How we looking?
We're supposed to beat up Ireland. We're supposed to beat Ireland. We're supposed to beat Ireland at home. And 2-1 England.
So we're saying 3-0 in Ireland?
2-1 Ireland.
And the
Because
reverse where we play England? England beating
yeah,
2-1?
Yeah, 2-1. Yeah.
Keep in mind Ireland coming we backyard a couple of years ago and come in we kitchen and break up we wares.
Yeah, but I think that Sammy has over the since he's come, he's set a culture, and I think that West Indies ODI cricket is in a much better position than it has been for a long time. I got to give Sammy his flowers and kudos to him.
So on that point, I will say this much, right? West Indies have a tendency of playing down to their opposition. The Irish, the Scottish, the Zimbabweans, whenever they come up against West Indies in recent years, they have risen their standards, right? We seem to relax when we play these associate nations. Well, Ireland is no longer an associate nation. They're a test playing nation, right? These are some pesky cricketers. They play to the best of their abilities. They maximize what they have. And I think West Indies are going to be given a serious challenge. I do agree with you, West Indies. I'm going to go West Indies 2-1. For the test for the series against England, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to win that 2-1. Your prediction, Sam?
I go with 2-1 Ireland and 1-2 for England.
Oh, so you're saying we're beating Ireland 2-1 also?
Yeah, man.
Okay, and the reverse against England.
That's what I think that's a reasonable play.
I hope Kevin gets the prediction right again. The last time we went to the 50.
And you know what? Yes.
Yeah, so Kevin, it don't come off the thing, Let we don't cross up the thing, right? Stay.
No.
Let me stay.
No.
Yeah, me and Walter.
Yeah.
So
you go your way.
Yes, I go in my way. I go in my own way. You understand? And yeah, watch and see. Watch and see. This one day series against England gonna be different.
Here what I think though, there are some players. Evan Lewis gonna do Evan Lewis stuff, but I think there are players that needs to come to mature. So I think and we know Shy Hope is Shy Hope. But the Brandon Kings of the world, and we know Sheriff and Rutherford. So I mean, you have a point. Some players need to rise to that level. They need to stop. Like,
so let's do this. Let's do this, Walter. Let's do this. Who do you think against England need to show up the biggest against England
Brandon King.
in terms
Brandon
of our
King.
batting?
In terms, obviously, I mean, Shy Hope first, Evan Lewis. Um, Brandon King needs to, and then people like Brandon King needs to have a good. He needs to show up but in that level. Shy Hope obviously will do Shy Hope things just under Evan Lewis, and I think Brandon King needs to also step up. He needs to have at least 100 and a 50, or two big 50s in
I
this.
I
We know,
think
we've no sure if Rutherford will do well.
I think this is a series where Brandon King needs to stamp his authority on the West Indies one day side. This
If he does
series
that,
here,
if he does that, he plays in the test against Australia.
right? Right now I ain't care about that. I ain't care about that. One day cricket, as it stands right now, Brandon King hasn't quite stamped his authority on the West Indies one day side. There have been some good performances. Here's why I'm saying this. Too often, he gets a good start and he doesn't finish. Right? There are too many good starts and he doesn't turn it into anything substantial. Here is where Brandon King needs to go in conditions that he's not familiar with and really put a stamp on his career and the West Indies team. Second person, this is going to be the litmus test for Amir Jangu. This is going to be the litmus test for Amir Jangu.
Yeah, because he's starting.
Started well. Different conditions now, right? The ball, the ball is going to be doing some things. Let's see how he shapes up. In your estimation, Sam, who you think needs to have a big series if West Indies are going to succeed?
If you want Walter already called some games. So I was disappointed with Django's performance in the 4-day championship. Yes. So I'm in his corner. I'm rooting for him to do some things up in the order. You see, to call a name that hasn't been called, I'm looking forward to the test player, as people jokingly call him, Roston Chase, to hold up the middle. You know, yeah. But again, you guys have called names for which can't argue against those.
I know we got some good finishers in Sherfane and Mario Shepard. So and Evan Lewis is gonna do Evan Lewis things. He's gonna come off at least
Do you think Shamar should play all 6 matches?
Shamar Joseph, yes. Yes.
He needs the match experience.
Yes.
And it's one day, it's not test match. So because we don't even know how well recovered he is, you see. But to be playing in England, especially, again, to get the ball to move, let him
he should be by now with all that.
I've seen videos of him bowling in the nets in India, and he's bowling at full throttle. So it's just a matter of LSG saying here's a game. But I personally think he should not leave. He should not leave the UK with anything less than 50 overs.
Yep.
Anything, I think he should not leave there with anything less than, because that in itself will give him enough work heading into that Australia series. And I think he should be, if West Indies were thinking of being truly competitive against Australia in that test series, he should be included in that second unofficial test against South Africa. Anyways, fellas, we promised to keep it short tonight. It was a spur of the moment to talk about this squad selection for the tour of the UK by West Indies. As we said, we you can't have too many arguments with who were selected. It's just a matter now of the players going out there and doing their thing. And hopefully my prediction comes true. West Indies beat England 2-1. And
Yes.
we're expecting to beat Ireland. Anyways, fellas, catch y'all the next time.
All right, cool. Yeah, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, man.
Out.
Nice and